Last year, over 300,000 people went to Anime Expo. They spent an average of $1,300 each. Some flew 20 hours from other continents. For what? To stand in line for 6 hours to get an autograph? To buy plastic figures? To dress up in costumes? On paper, it makes 0 sense. But in your heart, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because when you're there, something magical happens. For 3 days, you feel more alive, more you. And when you leave, reality feels gray, dead. Why? Why does a bunch of people in a convention center feel more real than your actual life? Let's get raw. An anime convention isn't like a religious pilgrimage. It is a religious pilgrimage. Think about it. Pilgrims travel to Mecca. They wear special clothes. They chant together. They hear sermons from holy figures. They buy religious artifacts to prove they were there. Now replace Mecca with Anime Expo. Replace special clothes with cosplay. Replace sermons with voice actor panels. Replace religious artifacts with merch. It's the same brain circuit. Scientists call it collective effervescence, when individual identity dissolves into group identity. But let's call it what it really is, a group high. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between singing hymns in a cathedral and screaming the Pokemon theme song with 5,000 other people. Same chemicals, same brain regions, same psychological release. Here's where it gets wild, that convention hall. It's not a building, it's a social womb. Anthropologists have this term, liminal space. It means a place that's not here, not there, an in-between world where normal rules don't apply. Think about it. At home, you're shy. At con, you're high-fiving strangers. At school, you're weird for liking anime. At con, you're weird if you don't. In normal life, talking about your favorite character for hours is obsessive. At con, it's Tuesday. You leave your normal identity at the door. For 3 days, you get to gestate a new version of yourself. Then Monday morning, they shove you back into the gray, dead world. That post-con depression. It's not sadness, it's rebirth trauma. You were psychologically born again, then forced back into a life that doesn't fit your new self. Let's talk cosplay. You think you're just dressing up. Wrong. When you put on that costume, you're doing something ancient, something tribal. You're allowing a fictional character to possess you. In normal life, you can't scream, "Believe it," and running hug your friends. But as Naruto, that's expected. You can be loud, emotional, dramatic, all the parts of yourself you bury to fit into society. Psychologists call this identity fusion. But let's be real, it's controlled multiple personality disorder. And that's not a bad thing. That character lets you express parts of your psyche that are forbidden everywhere else. The convention hall is the only place where being possessed by a fictional spirit is not just accepted, it's celebrated. That's power. That's freedom. Here's a mind bender. You know that one-sided friendship you have with your favorite character? That's called a parasocial relationship. Normally, it's just you and your screen. But at a convention, 10,000 people have the same imaginary friend. Suddenly, your private hallucination becomes public reality. When you cosplay as that character, you're not alone. There's 50 other versions of them. You're all validating each other's fantasy. This is how tribes formed in ancient times, around shared stories, shared myths. The only difference? Their myths were about gods and spirits. Ours are about Deku and Goku. But here's the kicker. Your brain doesn't care if the story is real. It only cares that the tribe is real. And for those 3 days, the tribe exists. Your imaginary world becomes more solid, more tangible than the so-called real world. Now I'm going to say something controversial, and it's going to sting. Anime conventions aren't a celebration. They're a mass trauma response. Research shows anime fans score way higher on anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts than the average person. We're not here because we're happy. We're here because we're hurting. That sensory overload, the bright lights, the loud music, The crowds. It's not just fun. It's a controlled dissociative state. It's a mental escape hatch from psychological pain. The euphoria you feel? That's not joy. That's temporary relief from chronic misery. You're self-medicating with community instead of drugs. And post-con depression? That's withdrawal. You just spent 3 days in the only environment where your pain makes sense to other people. Then you have to go back to a world where nobody gets it. We travel across continents because we're desperate, because for 3 days we can pretend we're not broken. But here's where it gets really dark. That beautiful community you're building? It runs on the exact same psychology as extremist groups. Think about it. Sub-fandom wars? That's us versus them. Canceling people for wrong opinions? That's defense of dogma. Fame within the community? That's reputation as salvation. Defending fictional characters with real anger? That's worship. The same brain circuits that make conventions feel like home can, with a slight tweak, create terrorist cells. The same tribal bonding that saves us can radicalize us. The only difference between your anime tribe and a radicalized group is target selection. You're fighting over waifus. They're fighting over politics. The bonding mechanism is identical. Your safe space is built on one of humanity's most dangerous psychological systems. Remember the Matrix? Where Zion is the real world and the Matrix is the fake one. Flip it. Your normal life, school, work, small talk, that's the Matrix. It's fake, performative. You wear a mask every day to survive it. The convention, that's Zion. That's where you're real, where your emotions are real, where your connections are real. But unlike the movie, you voluntarily jack back into the Matrix. Because society doesn't have a job for Naruto on the inside. There's no place for your authentic self in the gray, dead world. So you pack your real self away, you put the mask back on, and you count the days until you can be real again. Here's the synthesis that breaks brains. Anime conventions aren't a weird subculture. They're emergency triage for community collapse. Humans evolved for tribal villages of 150 people. Modern society destroyed that. We don't have tribes anymore. We have co-workers, classmates, followers. Conventions are synthetic tribe creation. We hacked our own psychology to rebuild what we lost. Belonging, check. Shared meaning, check. Ritual, check. Transcendence, triple check. Your brain doesn't care that the tribe is built around Attack on Titan. It only cares that the tribe exists. We spend fortunes and travel continents because the alternative isn't staying home. The alternative is psychological death by loneliness. So next time someone mocks you for going to conventions, tell them this. I'm not escaping reality. I'm participating in humanity's oldest survival mechanism. I'm rebuilding the tribe that your society destroyed. Post-con depression isn't weakness. It's homesickness for a place where your soul fits. The convention hall is proof that when you strip away modernity, humans will spontaneously re-evolve community using whatever stories are available. Anime just happened to be the mythology we had. Your fandom isn't a hobby. It's a lifeline. If this hit you in the chest, you're not alone. Drop a comment. What's your con experience? And subscribe, because next week we're diving into why cosplay is literally saving people's lives, and why some people hate that so much. See you in the next video. Peace.